connecting. And yes, I'm live. That's cool. And the screen is not stuck. And yes, then there was light. And now we move on to doing Boot.dev Linux part, which is crazy. We are right here doing Linux, learning about Linux. This is going to be amazing. The terminal had shells. Terminal is a program and shell is a program. Right. Welcome to Linux. Welcome to Learn Linux. Welcome to Learn Linux. Admittedly, the course name is a bit of a misnomer. It's called Learn Linux because Linux is what most students think of regarding the concepts in this course. A more accurate title might be Learn to use shells and terminals in a Unix-like environment. But that's a mouthful. Learning goals understand the difference between a shell and a terminal. Yes. Uh, Learn how to navigate and use the file system using command line. Yes. Learn how to install software using the command line, which is amazing. Like without using brew, that would be amazing. Understand how to manage your path and environment variables. This is fucking amazing. Learn how to manage permissions and execute programs. Learn how to manage permissions and execute programs. So I can execute programs and I can, yes, permissions part I do not understand fully. And yeah, how to download programs, install softwares. This is going to be amazing. This course will get you comfortable working on a command line, which is a skill that's going to be critical for the rest of your career as a programmer. So instead of writing code in the browser, okay, yeah, instead of writing code in the browser, I thought they are talking about writing JavaScript in console in the browser. No. In this course, you will interact with the command line interface directly on your machine. Assignment: find and open a terminal on your computer. See below for instructions. Yep, on Windows, on Mac, and on Linux. Type the following command and press enter. Yep, echo this. When you are done, answer the question. What happened when you press enter? The text hello world printed on the terminal's console. Yep. How do you open a terminal on Mac? Open terminal application. You can find it by searching for terminal in Spotlight, the magnifying glass in the top right corner of your screen. Oh shit, that is Spotlight. That is cool. How to open a terminal on Windows? Open the command prompt application. You can find it by searching command prompt in the start menu on a Linux. Well, if you are on Linux, I refuse to believe that you don't already know how. And the next command line CLI versus GUI. This is amazing, yeah. In other Boot.dev courses, you may have ran your code by clicking a run button, but as a real trademark developer, you will likely run your code using a command line interface, CLI instead. For example, in Python, you would run a Python code file like this, Python main.py. What is a CLI? You will often hear the terms terminal, shell, command line, CLI. Terminal, shell, command line, CLI. CLI and command line are the same, and command prompt is Windows version used interchangeably, but often they all refer to the same thing, a program that allows you to interact with your computer in a text-based way. Yep. GUI. If you don't have a technical background, you are probably used to interacting with your phone or computer using a graphical user interface GUI. When you use a mouse to click on fancy icons, buttons, and menus, you are using a GUI. There's a video. To be fair, it's usually easier to teach people to use a GUI than a CLI. You can simply point to things and say click here and drag this there, but GUIs do have some drawbacks. They are weak. You are given much more control over your computer. You are given much more control over your computer through a CLI. Use with GUI, you are limited to the options that the developer of the GUI has given. They are slow. Once you know the commands to type, it is much faster to type them than to click through endless menus with a mouse. They are not as reducible. If you want to share a set of instructions, you can just copy and paste commands without worrying about screen sizes and user preferences. They are not automatable. It is easy to write code that manipulates text, as you have seen in Python, but it is much harder to write code that manipulates GUIs. They're not as cool. You will be invited to 90% fewer romantic outings if you are a GUI user. Yeah, they're not cool. Assignment. Who am I? Let's do that. Who am I? Alright, first, clear the terminal. Who am I? I'm Jitendra. That is my username. What happened when you ran the command? A text dum-dum was printed, a terminal crash. My username was printed to the console. Should I have forgot to watch the video? The video, yep.
The words terminal, shell, command line, CLI, and command prompt are often just thrown around haphazardly by programmers. And even though the precise definitions vary slightly, we're usually talking about a program that lets you interact with your machine through text. If you're new to the command line, you're already probably familiar with GUIs, or graphical user interfaces. And a GUI is just a fancy visual interface that lets you get stuff done on your computer. Think of a Windows desktop, for example. It has menus to sift through, icons to click on, and even complex window management systems. A CLI, or command line interface, is a much simpler alternative. Instead of using complex visual buttons and menus, you interact solely through text. Want to run a program? Don't click on an icon, just type the name of the program. Want to view a file? Don't open Microsoft Word, just type a command. Now, while GUIs do have a lower barrier to entry, that is, they're often self-explanatory to use, they're also pretty limited. A command line interface is more powerful because you're not limited to the buttons and widgets that are provided by application developers. Instead, you get direct access to the lower levels of your system. As a programmer, it's non-negotiable. You need to be comfortable on a command line.
Yep. Command line is amazing. Fucking amazing. I don't know exactly what it means, but it is amazing. Installing Windows subsystem for Linux. You can skip this step if you are on macOS or Linux or already use WSL2 configured. I know the course is called Learn Linux, but if you're on Mac, it's Unix-like enough for all the lessons in this course, right? But still, I will go through this. The built-in Windows command prompt is terrible, in my opinion. It is so bad that if you are on Windows, you are just going to have you install Linux and install WSL2 Windows subsystem for Linux. This will allow you to keep running your normal Windows desktop, but also have a Linux command line operating system and files for your programming work. Thank you for being a great, not you, command line environment. Uh, Thank you for being a great command line environment. Yo, this is Linux, this is Ubuntu, this is Apple, this is Red Hat, this is Raspbian, Debian, Raspberry Pi, Debian and Raspberry Pi, Raspbian. Okay, okay. WSL2 was huge step forward for developers on Windows. You get a full Linux operating system and command line experience without the need to dual boot. WSL is an official Microsoft product. It won't mess up your base Windows install. You will still be able to run Stream, to run Steam. Ah, Here are a couple of things to keep in mind about WSL2. There are two versions of WSL. We will use WSL2, and the WSL2 file system is commonly separated from your Windows file system. And just moving on to the next chapter. Wait, what? I'm done with this step. Yep. Yeah, what is a terminal? As we talked about, the terms shell, CLI, and terminal are often used to refer to the same thing, a program for issuing text-based commands. But to get pedantic, the term pedantic means very, very specific detail about what the thing actually is, like in spelling or stuff. The terminal is just one specific part of that program. Historically, the word terminal meant a physical device that you could type command into, essentially a keyboard and a screen. Uh, These days, when we say terminal, we really mean terminal emulator. Terminal terminal emulator. A terminal emulator is a program that emulates a physical terminal. It's a program that lets you type commands into a window on your computer. Okay, historically, a terminal meant a physical thing into which you can type commands and see them what you are typing. Okay, and in nowadays, what we actually mean when we say terminal is a terminal emulator. So this thing is a terminal emulator, and my keyboard and this program together, they are terminal acting as a terminal emulator. Which commands you are able to use isn't determined by the terminal emulator but by the shell, which we will talk about later. Your terminal emulator is just responsible for drawing text on the screen and processing your keystrokes. Okay, a terminal or terminal emulator is a text-based operating system. Nope. A set of commands that can be used to control a computer. Nope. A freshly baked Raspberry Pi. Nope. Is a program that accepts text-based commands and can render text on the screen. Yep. Okay, so terminal. When we say terminal, we actually mean a terminal-based terminal emulator. Okay, something that takes in keystrokes and puts them on the screen. Okay, that is a terminal. Well, historically, that is a terminal. Now it is now what we usually use is a terminal emulator. What is a shell? Shell. So if your terminal is just a program that lets you issue text-based commands and renders the output of those commands. Okay, so if your terminal is just a program that lets you issue text-based commands and renders the output of those commands, what is the program that runs those commands? Yep, that is a shell. Shells do a lot of things, but their main job is to interpret the commands you type and execute them. Okay, terminal. This is terminal. This is item, which is a terminal emulator. All right, and okay, this is a terminal emulator, and I can have multiple terminal emulators, but the shell are different programs which are inside, and their examples are bash and zsh. These are two shells. Okay, shells are often referred to as repl repl read, eval, evaluate, print, and loop. It reads what we put in, it evaluates that is runs the command, and prints what it ran, or if there is something to be printed on the terminal emulator, and then loops. This is a fancy way of saying that repl 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 replit shed. Is that what a replit means? Replit. Okay, this is a fancy way of saying that shells are programs that read the commands you type, evaluate those commands usually by running other programs on your computer. Okay, typing in a command means running some program on your computer, prints the output of those commands, gives you a new prompt to type another command to repeat. Right, in your own shell, run the following command. This, if you are on Windows, use your WSL Ubuntu shell for this and all future lessons. Paste the output of the command in the text box. Okay. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 0. EXPR 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5, 6 into 7, 8, 9, 0. Syntax error EXPR plus. Alright, and that is 131 1346 131 1 131 4 3 1 3 4 6 131 1313 46. Yo, that works. What was the tip? If you are confused about being prompt, echo this right and echo hello, echo. Oh. Now, what is the shell? And now, variables. And shit, there have been frames have been already dropped, which is bad. Variables. If you are using Windows on WSL, you are probably running a bash, right? Okay. On Mac, I'm probably running a ZSH shell. And if you're running full Linux, I pray you already know what you're using. Shit. Okay. A Linux person should know what they are using. Z shell. ZSH means Z shell. Okay. And bash is Unix shell. Okay. Bash and Z. Isn't there a Wikipedia for like programming stuff? Mm, Wikipedia for program, computer programming, list of programming languages. Nope, 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 nope. Okay, mhm. Wiki, wait, uh-huh. Wiki, is there an application that is like Wikipedia but for programming? Yes, there are Wikipedia like things for programming. Yeah, MDN web docs. Yep. Rosetta Code, Wikibooks programming, a collection of open source programming books. Uh-huh. M MDN web docs. Yeah, I guess I have read stuff on there. Yeah, I have read stuff on this. Learn MDN resources for developers by developers, documentation, web technologies, including yeah, and this is about web technologies by Mozilla. All right, and I have web dev docs combines multiple programming documentations in one place with offline access. That is cool. I have offline access here. Devdocs.io. That is cool. That is cool. For disabled, what does web APIs? All right. Animation, let's say animation. These are web APIs for animation, ambient light and stuff. That is cool. Apache Pig. I don't know what the fuck. Bash table of contents, the whole bash documentation, and I can download it, I guess. Source code. What is source code? So, okay, so this is the place that they got that documentation. That is cool. Then I have Rosetta code, Rosetta Stone, Egyptian, and why does it look like Wikipedia? .wiki.rosetta. Okay, Rosetta code is a programming site. Is a let's go to the home page. And this is the fucking homepage. The idea is to present solutions to same tasks in many different languages as possible. All right, ways to contribute, places to start. Places to start. I see nothing. Join our Discord discussion. Tasks. Let's see tasks. Village pump unimplemented tasks. Yeah, alright, that is cool. Wikibooks. Yeah, that is cool. Wikibooks programming. Wikibooks programming. Yeah, Wikibooks programming English and Wikibooks. There are books on this page. Main page, learning tutorials, chess books. The game itself contains books on right. Uh, more prompted. Prom- uh, yes, promoted shelves. Shelf. Games. Oh, all right. These are about games. Chess. Chess strategy. Let's go there. Inside this, I have stuff written, development, mobility. All right. Development. Let's go there. And that is Wikipedia. Like exactly like fucking Wikipedia. That's cool. Awesome list and okay. All right. Okay. Now back here. Variables. The point is that you are probably using bash or zsh. Bash is born again shell, and zsh is z shell. And for the purpose of this course, they are basically the same. Both bash and zsh shells, and they also happen to be powerful programming languages. They have variables, function, loops, and more. That said, only crazy people write programming programs in shell languages. Shells are optimized for running other programs and write small scripts, not for writing large applications. Why is programming language a link? Bash stack documentation. Fucking hell, powered by Bash. ZSH documentation. ZSH source documentation. That is the documentation for ZSH. Shit. All right, creating a variable, just like that. All right, and using a variable echo $name. Right. And, uh-huh. Name to nope. Command cannot found. Name equals oh without a space. Okay. And echo $name. Right. I have created a variable. Now, if I were to open another thing, this does not have the context which I have given to the last one. So this, I guess, should not work. Echo name. Yep. This does not have this context. Like in Python, where you can just see a variable's name in your shell, you need to prefix the variable name with $sign assignment. For the rest of this course, you will be a forensics developer hired by the fictional World Bank to investigate a security breach. Like most mega corporations, they don't know what they are doing, but they are happy to overpay you to come in so that they can say a third party expert has reviewed their system. Turns out you are not an expert, but you are happy to learn on someone else's dime. So why don't you jump at the opportunity, right? Anyhow, you will be using your terminal and shell to traverse files, manipulate text, run programs, and investigate more suspicious activity. Set the following three variables in your shell. Bank name, World Bank, founded 1969. CEO is Jeff Gates. All right, that does work. Now write and execute a command that will print the following variables using echo and dynamic variables you just set. Write and execute a command that will print the following using echo. Okay, I want this thing to be followed. Paste the entire command line that is generated, the correct output into the text field. All right, this thing I am supposed to print that thing. Echo this bank name was founded in founded in this by CEO. Bank name to bank name. Yep. Right. I misspelled bank name. Yeah, now it is fine, and it does work. World Bank was founded in this by Jeff Gates. All right. In this, like, and do this. Echo bank name was founded in dollar founded by dollar name, not name but CEO. Submit. That is correct. That is correct. Tip. Certain Windows versions may not let you paste to command line. That is a tip. Now, history when you are working in a REPL, read, execute, print loop. It's really helpful to be able to see the commands you are typing in the past. That way, you can easily rerun them or copy paste them into a script. To print out the history of commands you have typed in your shell, you can use the history command. All right, history, that is the command number, I guess, and the command that I ran. These are 10 fucking thousand commands. Shit. Okay, mouse got disconnected. Uh, now it is fine. Yep, now it is fine. Assignment in your shell, set two variables: depart to engineering and team to ops. Department and team. Department is engineering ops. Okay. Use echo to print the following message using the hash depart and hash team variables. I work in engineering in ops. Run history command and paste its full output into the text field, including the variables you set and the final echo command. All right. Make sure you have spelled the above variables exactly right, unless you are like losing armor. Unless you like losing armor. Okay, department is engineering and teams is ops. All right. Department is engineering, team is ops. Then echo, I work in department on teams. I work in engineering. I work in department on team. I work in department on team. Then history, send all the output to history.txt and n history.txt and go down, copy everything and paste it here and submit. That is cool. And why is there that line? I don't know why it is there, but that is looking cool. That looks like a cool line. Here, yep. Navigate history. You will often want to rerun a command. You can just type it out again, but assuming you don't have the WPM of the prime agent. Yo, arrow keys. Uh, what is the prime agent's WPM? Yeah, WPM. 500 WPM. Has anyone reached 300? It's like the prime agent typing speed. Stop typing faster. Expensively. What's your typing? Is it possible? Today is the first day typing. While typing Dvorak that I have felt fast in wrote it in 2020. The street. Shit. Dvorak. Dvorak is a keyboard. Yep. Which looks like this. Dvorak. All right. Where is E? E is supposed to be at, yep, close. All right. And this is a Dvorak based keyboard with HAL 9000 in the middle. Arrow keys. You can use the up and down arrow keys to quickly cycle through your command history. Focus your terminal window and use the up arrow key to cycle through your command history. If you recently restarted your shell, then first command and type a few commands and like this, and then go up or down. Clear. If your terminal is feeling cluttered with text, you can clear it with the clear command and or by pressing Control L. This won't delete your history. It just cleans the screen. The dash arrow goes up in history, up, and the dash goes forward in history, down, up and down. Navigate history, this is the same. The clear command opens the new terminal up, deletes your shell history up, clears the terminal screen, terminal emulator screen. Terminal alternatives. So far, you have been likely working in the default terminal that came with your operating system, and that's fine. However, there are other options, and I want to highlight a couple of them just in case you want to check them out, but you don't have to. Editor IDE built-in terminals. For most text editors for development have a built-in terminal. For example, VS Code, Z, and Cursor are popular text editors that also have a built-in terminal. While I do use Z's terminal for most of my coding work, in this course I do not recommend using a built-in terminal because we don't need the extra text editor features. Ghosty is a very new terminal emulator that differentiates itself by being fast, feature-rich, and native. Fast, feature-rich, and native. It's a great option if you love to customize and want a modern, fast, and feature-rich terminal. Clarity. Clarity is another popular terminal emulator that is known for its speed and extensibility. Before Ghosty, Clarity was the go-to terminal for many web developers who wanted a fast and customizable terminal. Windows Terminal is the Microsoft suitable for Linux terminal. Use the cmd.exe program setting to change the default terminal. Be sure to start your WSL whenever you start a new terminal window. Clarity and Ghosty. I don't know about them, which is not a terminal emulator. Windows terminal. Ubuntu. Alright. Ghosty is a terminal emulator. Is a terminal. Alright. Alright. Ghosty is a terminal which I can just simply download. That is cool. Mac OS or Linux. I want to download it for Mac OS and let's see what happens. Well, I guess I already know it will be downloaded. Go inside downloads and put it in downloads folder, which must be like somewhere here, around here. Shit, I do have quite a bit of photos in here and Oppenheimer and stuff. And this shit, it went above. A B C D F G H I J K L M N O P. Alright, P comes after I. K L M O P. Shit, it is not here. Uh, Blender, I have Blender. How can it be lost just like that? Right, I got mangas, and then below, uh, uh, it is, I guess, in the last part. Programs, yep. Download Ghosty. Yep, it is already downloaded. 27 MBs, that is all it takes. And put it in. Uh-huh. Let me put my laptop on charge. Why do I say let me, as if you can stop me? It is not downloading. Time estimate is humongous. and the screen is not stuck, which is cool. Okay, I guess it is already here in this part. And why is this lagging? This is lagging. Yep, this is lagging. And have the frames dropped? Yep, they have in the past. Okay, it is downloaded. Now I can use it if I want to. Let's see. Ghost. Um. All right. In the application folder, Ghosty. Okay. Yeah. hmm That is the terminal that looks like the terminal that I have, ls. And um, how do I make stuff different in this? View file settings. Alright, that is settings for Ghosty. Shit, this is a configuration file for our Ghosty. This template file has been automatically created and the following path is users like support that does not have any default options. Alright. Okay, I can get into how I can configure Ghosty. And Ghosty allows you item for the things. Right. Um, allow access. Yes, I just have to change the background. That would work, I guess. I can switch to Ghosty. And why am I switching from item to Ghosty? Because that is different from what I am currently using. So a change is now because I want to see all the processes that are running and the processes running on Mac on netstat. Yep, netstat. Yep. Netstat. In what was the port? Yes. Shit. Um, no, that is not a lot of things. Mm-hmm. 80. Is this the port? That in tail. Yeah, not tail, but head. Port. It does not say the port number. If it is not saying the port number, it is saying local address, and foreign address, it is not saying any port number. How do I find out for one port? Find I and then port number like this. Right. Let's add ano and and then after this comes the port number, it is 80. No such directory. Talking about but fine. I filters that would be only line containing the specifier else of I, and yeah, that's better. Else of I 80 colon 80. Something is running on port 80. What is the port? CD projects use stuff and server.c. Right, and in here the port is 80, so the server also closed. Right, if I do server, yep, the server did close. And Ghostly somehow seems better due to some reason. I don't know why, but this scene looks better. Okay, I'll look into how I can change the background for this. Right, and the next time I am ending here after just completing one chapter in this. Yes, I am ending the stream here because I have a little more stuff to do, and tomorrow I have my exam, so I have to study and do stuff. Yes, so this is the end for today's stream. You're learning about Linux. That terminal is just a program that takes that records your keyboard strokes and puts what you wrote on the screen. And a shell is a program that does REPL, repl, read, execute, uh, print, and loop, repl. Yep. And it is the thing that actually runs the command. And that is it for today's